Hello everybody, it's Ben here. Just a quick note before we start this episode. If you listened or watched to the last episode, you'll know that we sort of cut it short at the end because we ended up deciding that it was going to be way too long. So this is just a continuation of that last one. So this episode of the podcast is just part 2 of our £1 million car garage discussion, challenge, exercise, whatever you want to call it. So yeah, let's get back into it. Enjoy the episode and we'll see you next week for another one. Cheers. Let's do it. Right.
Welcome back to part 2.
Part 2. This is turning out to be a long one.
Congratulations if you've stuck around for this long, because
we've gone through all the interesting stuff. Now is all the shite.
Yeah. Well, I've still got quite a few nice things.
I've got a lot of shite.
You've got a lot of shite on yours because your list is twice as big as mine.
Oh yeah, actually it is more than twice as long.
I got 15, you got 28.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Right. So where was the last one? What was the last
so
one?
So I was just talking about Viper. Was I? No, we were in the break.
Yeah. What were we talking about before? We talked about the sports pack mini that I was going to have.
911.
Oh yeah, your 911.
Was that where we got to?
I think so. Yeah.
Okay.
Cool. Right. So again, I've just gone through my list again, and I have actually kind of inadvertently grouped everything together. So we've got the Ferraris, we've got the Porsches, we've got the Beamers, we've got the Mini Cooper SR53, which is kind of a bridge between the BMWs and the classic Mini that I wanted to get as well.
Yeah.
So I'll have 2 classic Minis. Next one.
So I'm just making sure the shot's framed. It look good?
Yeah, it looks all right.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry.
I think it has changed a little bit.
I think it's moved slightly to the right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cool. Sorry for audio listeners. I'm sure this is very interesting. Johnny's put the camera in the wrong place and then kicked it. Okay, so
sorry about that.
Next one. We've got 3 cars all together. I'm not really going to go into much detail because I don't think I need to.
Okay.
It's a ZR, ZS, and a ZT.
How did I know they were going to be on the list?
Just because I feel like
when are you ever going to drive them?
This is what I was thinking. Is that I'm probably not going to drive them much, if at all.
So they're going to be dust collectors.
But I feel like I owe it to my younger self.
Fair enough.
I do have some.
I mean, yeah, absolutely.
I do have some sort of specific requirements from them.
Uh-huh.
So it'd be a ZR160, a ZS180, a ZT260, the V8. Yeah. They'd all have to be facelifts because I think the facelifts look so much nicer.
100%.
I was in 2 minds whether to try and get them all the same colour or all different colours.
Okay.
Because
what was that lovely ready colour that they did?
Like a?
It was like a.
Do you mean like a bronzy
orangey red?
Yes, you're thinking of Nightfire. I think it was
Nightfire red.
Nightfire red. Yeah, so I was thinking of getting the ZT in Nightfire red.
Yeah, that's a lovely colour.
So the ZT260, I've budgeted 25 grand for all 3.
Okay.
So
25 grand for all 3. You're going to get some nice ones.
Well, I basically assumed 5 grand for the ZR, 5 grand for the ZS. And
10 grand for the ZT.
15 for the ZT.
Quick maths.
If I could supercharge the ZT for that budget, I probably would.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, that'd be rad.
Fast wagon.
Well, I'd get a saloon. Sorry, the iPad keep's going off. Let me just put
You wouldn't get a wagon?
No, I wouldn't get the wagon. I'd get the saloon. The ZT saloon is a genuinely. This is unironic. This is not parody. I genuinely think that the facelift MG ZT Rover 75 is one of the nicest shapes ever. I genuinely think that. Just look at it. Just with next time you see one, which they're not that, you don't see them about that much, but next time you see a facelift ZT, just look at the shape. Just the side-on profile is beautiful.
I will. I'm a sucker. I'm a sucker for good design, so I will have a look at that.
It reminds me of like a fast boat, not like a Miami cocaine spec fast boat.
What, like a barge?
No. One of those nice old sort of wooden power boats.
Yeah.
From like the 50s and 60s.
With like a teak decking.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Just, 4 people on there.
Yeah, okay.
Big old inboard V8, old school.
Yeah.
Just burbles along nicely.
Yeah, okay, cool.
It reminds me of that kind of design. Anyway,
fair enough. All right, fair enough.
So yeah, and then whilst we're on the subject of Longbridge crap,
An SD1.
Yes.
It's
Yes.
the only other good thing to come out of that factory.
I've got an SD1 Vitesse in there, which I budgeted 20 grand for.
Yeah,
I
fair
did
enough.
actually find one. They're quite rare. They're quite hard to come by now, especially good ones. And they've gone up a lot. I remember you could get a decent Vitesse for about 5 grand not that long ago.
Bloody hell.
That's now 15 to 20 for a decent one. But
Really?
Yeah.
Fuck.
Like, yeah, I mean, 20 grand I've budgeted for a good one.
Yeah, there can't be many of them about.
No, there's not. But yeah, that would be 5-speed manual.
They are,
obviously.
they are.
I think all the Vitesses were manual.
They're pretty cool cars. Do you remember that girl at college? Her brother had one. And he'd pick her up in it. It was a dark blue or black
don't remember
SD1 Vitesse.
You're joking.
No,
I
I'm
don't
not
remember this
joking.
at all. I don't
A
know
girl
who's
called
that.
Emma or something. Her brother had one and he used to pick her up in it.
What a legend.
And it was just like the coolest thing ever at the time because we were like 17
Yeah.
riding around in courses and stuff. And he had this V8 Rover SD1. It was just
That's
badass.
such a good-looking car as well. Again, I'd budget a little bit of money just to get some nice tweaks in there, up the power a little bit. You know, get a nice stereo and stuff in there. Maybe change the wheels a little bit. I find the standard wheels are a nice design. They're a bit too small. I find.
Yeah, fair enough. Going back to that
suspension
guy
doesn't
at
work.
college, when I said that we were
Brakes doesn't
driving
work.
around in... Shut up, Ben. When I said we were driving around in courses and everything, yes, I forgot you were driving around in a TVR.
Well, yeah,
But
I mean,
that's a story for another podcast.
Yeah, that is a story for another podcast.
Okay,
that was
moving
a
on.
disaster.
Bloody awesome disaster.
Cool,
Left
so
you in
that's-
financial ruin for years.
That was my 4, Rover Group, British Leyland, Longbridge, Crapola.
So you have put them in different categories without even thinking about
Yeah, so I've gone Ferraris, Porsches, Beamers,
it. And
and
Rovers.
the Beamer, then the BMW Mini, segued into the classic Mini, segued into the Rover Group.
Rovers.
So
Love that.
I've kind of gone for something. So yeah, what's
Right, sling it back. Sling it back now. There's a song in there somewhere. Well, sling it back, bring it back, sling it back to me.
shang it back? Yeah.
Yeah, you got it, mate. Right, how do I get?
I
this?
thought you were going to go for a Timberland and a Nelly Furtado. Dig it back, sling it back.
How do I get this up, bro?
Oh, I had to put it in airplane mode because
All right,
I was getting loads of messages.
Nelly Furtado and who? Justin Timberlake.
No, Timberland.
Timberland.
Oh, piss off.
Can you put it on mute mode, maybe?
Oh, yeah, that's... I don't even know how to put this on mute.
Just turn the volume down. Press the volume
very
down
good.
button and hold it until it goes off.
There we go. All right. Try that on for size.
I will, thank you. Okay, refresh. How do I do a refresh? You have no mail. That can't be right.
Well, whilst we're trying to figure this out, let's just say that hopefully everybody's enjoying the podcast. We have committed to each other at least that we're going to do one a week.
Yeah.
So there will be a regular upload. I don't know why this isn't working. Hello. There you go.
Thank you.
It's up. Way.
Okay, way. Right, so my last one we were talking about before the break was the Mark 1 Golf.
Oh, of course, yeah. Lovely Mark 1.
You say that through gritted teeth.
I don't.
I know you don't like Volkswagens, but you've got to appreciate the Mark 1. I mean, we touched on it earlier. You did say you did like it.
At some point, we'll have to do a podcast on guilty pleasure cars because as a general rule, I don't like VWs, but there are a couple of VWs that I'm like, oh god, I'd really like one of those, and I feel bad about it.
Fair enough. R36 Passat.
Yep.
W12 Phaeton.
Yep. Hey, Mabel.
Mabel.
Yeah, Phaeton's on. Anyway, but yeah, that's
Yeah.
conversation for a different time.
Okay, right. So last on my list was the Mark 1 Golf.
Mm-hmm.
Now, this next one,
Yeah.
it's a bit out there.
Okay. What, more than a supercharged Viper?
That's probably the most out there. But you've got to have what? Wild card.
Yeah.
That was the Viper.
Yeah.
This one it's out there, but it's not what you'd expect in terms of like a car. Because it's not a car.
Okay.
It's a motorhome.
Okay.
A massive fuck off 450 brake horsepower megabus.
Oh, like an American one.
Yes.
Yeah.
And this particular one I found for sale
Yeah.
is Jensen Button's old F1 touring house.
What?
Yes.
How much is it?
It's not cheap. But I'll tell you how much it cost in a minute. But the logic behind this was, I want a home away from home that I can take anywhere. Yeah. Now, we did the NC500 in a tiny little Suzuki Swift last year, or whenever it was, a couple of years ago.
Suzuki Swift?
Sorry, Suzuki... What was it? Swift Edge. Suzuki. It was a fucking Fiat Ducato.
Yeah.
Swift Edge.
476.
Nothing to do with Suzuki. So, I loved that.
Yeah, I did.
Loved that trip. And I think in my head, if I could do that again with a little bit more comfort, a shower, a working shitter.
To be fair, we could have. Our motorhome did have a shower and a shitter.
I don't think we would have been able to fit in it with comfort.
No, and also we were too scared to use it because we didn't want to clean out the toilet.
Yeah, the blue shit box thing we didn't want to touch.
Which we had to touch because it had piss in it. But piss is one thing.
I mean, stop saying that word.
Sorry.
So I love that trip, and I thought I would love to do that sort of thing again, but like big time.
Yeah.
So like driving down to Monza or something like that, or driving like to the Nürburgring.
Yeah.
Or like, something like that.
Yeah. Explore Eastern Europe or Ireland or something like that. Yeah.
And it's a massive bus, so you couldn't do the NC500.
Is it like a motorhome or is it like a coach type?
It's like a hybrid. It looks like a coach,
right?
But it's a motorhome.
Does it have the purpose sides?
It has the bits that go.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
It's got two of them. It's got a freaking massive double bed in it, and a bedroom, and this toilet is bigger than the one I've got in this house, like the bathroom. So, and it's got 450 horsepower, which is needed for that massive thing. It probably weighs over 10 ton.
Yeah,
it's a huge beast. But I wanted something like that that I could hop in with the boys. And off we go.
Yeah.
A month trip around Europe. Bring your 911.
You could probably stock it up and you could probably just literally stay in that thing for a week or two.
Imagine, taking that on holiday.
Amazing.
Go wherever you want.
That is a great shout.
Hire a driver if you wanted to.
Yeah.
Because there's no fucking way in hell I'm driving that thing. I got nervous driving the Swift Edge. Swift Edge, brother.
What a machine.
What a thing. Shit car. Shit base.
Yeah, Ducati.
That's the Swift Edge, not this. So this is called a Dual 450.
Okay.
450 horsepower. The Dual, made by Dual. Don't know who they are. But it comes at a price of 100 grand.
Oh, that's when you said it was going to cost a lot, I thought you were going to say like $250,000 or something.
Yeah, so I looked at the modern day equivalents of these, and they're upwards of 500
Yeah.
grand.
I was going to say you're going to be $500,000 surely.
Some of them are even $1 million plus.
Jesus
like
Christ.
these things. This was the first ever motorhome in its day to be over £1 million.
Was it?
New.
Okay.
So it's high end.
It's just that interesting. So Jensen, this just on a bit of a tangent. Jensen Button released a book a couple of years ago, like an autobiography. It was written with someone else. No, was it? I can't remember. Anyway, so I read that book, and it's a very, very good read. And he talks very candidly about how he spent his money in his first couple of years of his career.
Yeah.
And he just used to throw cash away. He just used to spunk it away with no
regard for anything.
For any kind of... So he bought planes, he bought boats, he bought motorhomes. He was just literally throwing this cash about as if there was no tomorrow. And then after about sort of 5 years realised...
Shit.
He basically had more liabilities than assets.
Yeah.
He had no money whatsoever, even though he was,
asset rich.
A Formula One driver. So so there you go. So he spunked £1 million on that bus, and now you can have it for a tenth of that.
Exactly. I'm just going to check the cameras are rolling.
Okay.
Cool. Right, so that's straying away from cars. Mm-hmm. It's a motorhome, provides a purpose.
Yep, love that.
And it's
tow bar on the back.
big trailer,
GT3 in the trailer.
Exactly. And you could go to the Nürburgring for a week.
Yeah.
In that, you could hire a garage over there. Put your GT3 over there. Keep it over there.
Well, you wouldn't even bother hiring a garage, would you? Because you'd underneath in all the storage for the coach, you'd have the
space for the GT3.
No, you'd have like a big marquee and stuff.
Oh yeah. Oh, there's so much storage in it.
Yeah. So much room for activities.
So the next on my list. Mm-hmm. Now I've tried to think of things that I genuinely think I love.
Yeah.
Not just things I think, oh, that's badass, I want that. The Viper, probably
Yeah.
one. But there's a reason for that. It goes back to GTA with the Banshee.
Exactly.
You know, so it's place
Oh
on
yeah,
heart.
everything on my list I have an emotional connection to.
Yeah.
A strong emotional connection to. I mean, I'd fucking have to buy bloody ZR again.
You would, yeah. Indeed. I don't necessarily have a strong emotional connection to the next one on my list, but I do have like a strong boyhood admiration for it.
Okay.
Because we knew somebody that we went to school with whose dad worked for this company and he made the microchips for this
I know
car.
exactly where you're going with this.
I know you do, because there's only one person we know that worked for that company.
Yeah.
And he used to take one back to his house, and I used to go around there and play with their kids when I was a kid, obviously. Excuse me. And then I would sit there and think, look at that car. That is an absolute weapon of mass destruction.
Yeah.
And it sounded amazing. And it just looked so raw.
Yeah.
So it's the Noble.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
M12?
Well, no, M400.
M400.
Yeah.
Nice.
So that's like
Yeah.
the spec one.
How much are they going for these days?
I found a really good one. I couldn't find one that's actively for sale because there's none of them.
It's hard,
I think they
really.
only made 100 M400s.
No, I think there's a couple of them. Was it the M650?
Yeah,
which was the newer one.
That's the newer one, but they're not cheap.
Are they not?
No.
What?
Like the old ones are cheap. The new ones, no. I'm
Okay.
talking hundreds of grand.
Oh right, okay, that's interesting. I mean, it's a lot of car to be fair.
Yeah. So the old ones, the M400 in my eyes was the raw one.
So the M400, because the M12 had a 2.5 litre V6,
Yeah.
the M400 had a 3 litre V6.
Yes.
Both Mondeo, Duratec Ford ones. Yeah. Twin turbo, obviously.
And
What a car!
oh mate,
What a car!
what a car! A weapon of mass destruction.
Everyone's just kind of forgotten about the Noble as well.
Oh,
Like, it
mate.
was such a cool car.
There's a weapon of mass destruction.
Yeah.
Carbon fibre.
Say it again.
Weapon of mass destruction. I think they were made of carbon fibre.
No, they wouldn't have been carbon fibre. They were too cheap for that because they were quite cheap at the time.
There's something about carbon fibre I read. I could be getting mixed up.
Maybe
with something else.
maybe I'm wrong. I don't know.
I could be wrong. I don't know anything about them other than I loved looking at
They're rad.
my friend's dad's one.
Yeah.
When I was a kid. But I looked online. There's no M400s for sale.
Yeah.
There's none. Like there's bloody none of them. They're like rocking all shit.
Yeah.
And the ones that are around, people aren't selling because they love them.
Yeah.
Understandably. There's quite a lot of M12s for sale.
Mm-hmm. How much is an M12? How much is a decent M12?
The ones I was looking at were about 30 grand. 35
Okay.
grand.
Yeah.
I found one for 20 grand. I thought that's a bargain.
Yeah.
Absolute bargain. But I was looking at some auctions in America where they had sold some recently.
Okay.
And they were selling them for about 50 to 60 grand, the M400s.
Okay.
That's equivalent of dollars to pounds.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
So I put it down for 60 grand.
Okay. Yeah.
That's a good budget.
Yeah.
Could get one for 45. You know what I mean?
What colour would you? I mean, it doesn't sound like you're gonna get much of a choice, but what colour would you go for?
Now, they did some really nice, like grey, like gunmetal grey colours.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So I like that.
I only ever remember seeing them in two colours. One, actually, now I think about it, I do remember the grey. I remember, again, they did a sort of coppery, bronzy red, similar to Nightfire Red we were talking before. That was really nice. And they did a really nice deep blue, I seem to remember. It was lovely.
Yeah, that's nice. Like a purpley blue. Deep boy. Yeah, so I mean, I wouldn't really be that bothered.
Something that you could probably drive regularly, do some track days in it.
Yeah.
Again, nice cars and coffee car.
I just think it would add variation to the garage.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
British as well.
Yeah, exactly. You've got British car, but also quite niche. Mm-hmm. You know, it's not your everyday car. You don't see fucking any of them anymore.
No, never see them.
And it's a little bit special.
And on top of that, not that we're paying any attention to running costs and stuff, but probably not that expensive to run.
No. I mean,
it's a Mondeo V6.
Exactly, yeah.
As long as you know someone as long as you find a mechanic that's worked on them before, because I'm sure there's loads of quirks.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sure they're probably quite.
There'll be some Noble specialists tucked in the shed somewhere, won't there?
Parts will be cheap, I would have thought, most of them.
So
Unless
I thought
you
that
stove into the quarry at Castle Combe.
probably would. But they look good as well.
Yeah.
I think the design of those first gen ones.
They've aged well, haven't they?
Oh, they look great. That back end where it just like comes up.
Yes,
and that big wing on the back.
And you've got the sort of black stripe with the Mark 1 Mondeo taillights. Yeah.
I just think that looks so cool.
I do as well. Good looking car. Good
Great
choice.
rear end, yeah. Really cool looking car. So that was next on my list.
Mm-hmm.
I've only got 1, 2, 3, 4 cars left.
Right. Okay.
So I'll hand over to you.
Okay, that's fine. We'll go through my next sort of tranche.
Yeah. Okay.
So we've done the British shite.
Yeah.
Let's go through the. Okay, so the next sort of grouping of mine are Japanese ones.
Okay. Nice.
So we've got some Japanese cars to go for. I'm not a JDM like pervert. Do you know what I mean? I appreciate JDM cars, but I'm not like, oh JDM. Like it's not a car's not more special to me because it's Japanese.
No, you're not JDM till you die.
No, but and this is where I'm going to come out as just a complete basic bitch because I've gone for just the most obvious choices.
Okay.
And this is all to do with, again, me being a kid and certain things. So first one on the list is Mark IV Supra.
Yeah, 100%.
Manual, twin turbo. I've budgeted 50 grand.
Ooh.
Which...
That'll get you on.
It'll get one. Not a mint one, but it'll get a good one.
Yeah. I mean, the prices are anything like that. JDM
is
crazy. Astronomically mental.
I love that shape Supra
so
much.
So nice.
And I know it's cliche and I know it's a bit played out, but
do you remember that video of was it called the Night Rider or something? Some bloke driving a Mark 1 Supra twin turbo around Japan, absolutely running away from the police.
Yeah. What was his name? I can't remember. Yeah, I know exactly what you mean though. But yeah, I'd tweak it up a little bit. I'd put some nice wheels and stuff on, maybe a subtle kit. I wouldn't go over the top with it.
What colour?
I don't care.
Yeah, fair enough.
I don't think I care. Probably not silver.
Nah.
I
think they look really good in black.
Yeah, I was going to say probably a dark colour, I would have thought. Dark blue, black maybe, dark grey, something like that.
Yeah. Orange.
Yeah. Yeah.
With some fucking stripes down the side.
Fast and Furious rep.
Yeah.
So yeah, 50 grand for a Mark IV Supra, manual, twin turbo. Again, I'd probably go single or whatever. You know, I'd make it into a fairly nice, generic, but good condition Mark IV Supra.
Yeah, great fun to drive.
I have found one for sale. I think it was about 45, 50 grand.
Nice
so
laggy boy.
Yeah, exactly. Next one, R32 GTR.
Obvious choice.
I'd want the Supra and the Skyline together. I think they'd be a good pair.
Absolutely.
And
they're two like villains of the JDM world.
Yeah, exactly. Again, if the budget would have allowed, I probably would have had an RX-7 in there as well, but it didn't quite make the cut.
Yeah, I did look at those.
But yeah, I just love the R32. I think it's the nicest Skyline. I mean, I know everyone spunks over the R34, but I'm just kind of over it.
The R34 is a nice looking car.
Yeah, it is.
But there's so many around.
They're stupid money,
and they all look the same.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. They don't all look the same. That's a stupid thing to say, but in my eyes, they all look the same.
Yes.
You know, they've all got the same body. Well, they've all got the GTR body kit, but they're all they're either blue or white or black.
Yes.
You know, and they all look the same. They've all got rotor drift spec wheels on.
Blah, blah, blah. Yeah.
I don't know much about them, but in my eyes, they all look the same. They do look gorgeous. I do like them. I think they're badass. I think the kit looks cool, but they're, in my book, the ownerships are like oversaturated.
Yeah. No, I agree.
Don't see many R32s, and the ones you do see, you're like, holy fuck.
I just love the R32, and ever since we drove Ross's, it's really been kind of playing on my mind a little bit. Like I really liked that car. I liked the way it looked. Do you know what? I was tempted. I genuinely was tempted to just be like, fuck it, rather than a GTR, I'd just get a GTST.
Yeah, whatever.
And you know, put a
big turbo on it.
No car on this list would be. I'm not precious about keeping any of them standard. Authenticity on any of them, I don't care. I want to look at them and I want to drive them.
Fair enough.
So, you know, potentially a GTST, stick an RB25 in there, you know, slam it, all that kind of stuff. But I mean, a GTR is probably going to be the best bet.
Yeah.
So I budgeted 45 grand for a nice R32 GTR. Again, I wouldn't do much with it. Stick some wheels on it, lower it a bit, do some suspension work.
Yeah. Put some nice seats in it.
Yeah, maybe not even that. And then, that would be another cars and coffee car. Nice sunny day, go out for a blat in it.
Yeah.
Maybe do a track day in it, but again, I wouldn't really.
No.
It's probably not going to be as nice to drive as the GT3.
It'd also be just very nice to look at.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They're gorgeous.
So that one. The next one is I'd go for a classic Impreza STI.
Yeah, love that. Love that.
I originally wanted to go for like a two-door and I'd go down the sort of 22B replica route.
God.
Not a 22B because they're stupid money, but
You're talking it to me now, man.
some sort of replica. There's a company that the Scooby Clinic that does really nice 22B replicas. They're about 100 grand. I was very tempted to go for that, but I was like, again, I had to pare things back.
A lot of money for a Scooby.
So yeah, I'd just go for probably a late model classic STI, so like a 99 2000. Again, nice wheels, bit more power, standard kind of stuff. I think I budgeted 30 grand for that.
Yeah, I love that. All over that. That's lovely.
Don't really need to say much else about that. And then last on the Japanese list would be I've just sort of slotted a budget in here for a drift car.
Okay.
So I looked at a few. I tried to look at some drift cars that were actually available for sale at the moment.
Yeah.
But nothing really was tickling my fancy. I've put it in with the Japanese cars because it probably would end up being a Japanese car, maybe like an S-body Nissan, something like that. 20 grand will get you a very nice amateur drift car. You could probably buy something. You could probably buy something that you could enter
into a competition.
You could do competitive drifting in. It wouldn't be one of the better cars on the grid, obviously, but you could probably get one that you could end up, if you wanted to, entering British Drift Championship or something like that.
Yeah.
Not that I'm good enough to do that, but
I'm definitely not.
So 20 grand for something that's a capable but not very special drift car.
Fair enough. Yeah. Okay. Cool. I like that.
That's the Japanese ones.
Okay. Hand it back.
It might end up being a BMW. You don't know.
I was just thinking that. Yeah. BMW is good idea.
But I've assumed it would be, like I say, like an S-body or something like that.
Okay, fine. Next on my list, again, special place in my heart because we had an amazing experience in one a couple of years ago.
Yeah, what we say?
Maybe last year. My timing in terms of how many years ago things were is so bad.
Is it
I can't remember. Is it an XC90? I can't remember when it was, but it was probably last summer or the summer before.
I think I know where you go with this. Sorry, yeah.
It's obvious, isn't it?
Yeah.
So a caterer, right? Ben and I,
okay, sorry, carry on.
So Ben and I, as hopefully you would have seen because you're veterans to our channel, but if you're not, we had a very good experience where Caterham lended us a 310R for a week, where we got to go pick it up from their I wouldn't say it was their factory, but it was their kind of showroom and their garage.
Yeah, in Caterham.
In Caterham. And they lent it us for a week. We got to take it away, film it.
I think we did almost 1,000 miles in that thing.
Oh, we drove it.
We drove it a lot.
We did a few videos, delivered curries, did a review on it, which is on the channel. And we had the best time ever.
It was amazing.
And I often lie in bed and think how awesome that car was.
Yeah, so do I.
And think how much fun we
100%.
had driving that.
Probably once every 2 months or so, I'll go on a pretty deep dive on like eBay and Pistonheads looking at old Caterhams or like Westfield and stuff.
I went through a period of time when I moved here because I had some spare cash lying around. I thought, I want to buy a Caterham.
Yeah.
Obviously couldn't afford a Caterham, so I was like, I want to buy a Westfield.
Yeah.
So I spent probably about a month every day scouring eBay to try and find one. There are loads out there. I just couldn't buy the bullet because it's a stupid time to buy a car like that. And also, money was better spent on the house.
Yeah.
That's what the money was for. And Charlie would have killed me. So when we had this opportunity to look at £1 million car garage, I thought, I've got to get a Caterham in there.
100%, yeah,
now, I loved the 310R because it was great fun, but I thought, imagine it with a little bit more power. Now, the 620S or 620R or whatever they're called, I probably wouldn't go for one of those.
That's a dangerous game to play.
That would be up there with killing myself in the Viper. It would be like public poll: is Johnny going to kill himself in the Viper or the 620? That would be up there. So scaled it back just a little bit, and the middle ground is the 420.
Yeah.
I'd get the SV, which is the wide boy, which is the extended chassis, longer boy, because we did try and sit in the standard Caterham.
The standard one is.
That's
very
tight.
Again, if you're only doing it for track days, you could probably live with the standard chassis. But if you're doing anything other than just track days, I think you'd need the SV.
Yeah. So I've taken that into consideration, and I found one.
R or S?
I don't really mind.
No.
Because you can spec them to have different seats and stuff. And that, so I wouldn't really care. I'd probably quite like an R. You know, rawer. R stands for raw, by the way.
How much have you budgeted?
40 grand.
Do you know what's interesting? My list, I have included a Caterham 420R SV, and I budgeted 40 grand.
No way.
Yeah.
Nice.
I had exactly the same thought process. I was like, I need to get a Caterham.
Yeah.
The 310 was wicked, but you know, if I'm gonna keep it for a long time, I probably would go for the 420, just have a bit more torque and a bit more poke. So yeah, exactly the same. 40 grand for a 420R with the SV wider chassis.
100%.
And I don't care what colour it is.
No,
I don't care anything about it.
I just want to drive it.
Yeah, I just want to drive the thing.
I want to drive it, and sometimes I want to take the doors off.
Yeah. Sometimes I might, if money gets tight, I can deliver curry in it.
Absolutely. And then I would enter their Caterham
race championship. Yeah, race challenge thing. Yeah.
For a year.
100%.
You know, that would just be so much fun. So that was up there, and I thought, you can't go wrong with that.
That is amazing.
And I want a Caterham.
Yeah.
I want a Caterham. And that would be the car that on a sunny day, take the roof off.
Yes, 100%.
Take the doors off.
I don't think the roof would ever be on mine.
No, I think the doors probably wouldn't ever be on it, unless I was doing like a long distance journey.
No, it was horrible without the doors on. Do you remember how bad it was?
I think I'm probably...
Anything more than 40 miles an hour, it was horrible.
Was it that bad?
It was very bad.
I think I just remember the whole experience with Joy and rose tinted glasses, that anything bad I've just washed away.
It was horrible without
So maybe the doors would stay on.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck, someone at the door. I better get that.
Okay. You want to fuck someone at the door? Weird. Ah! It's like I'm trying to hide my eyes from your list. So, viewers and listeners, if you're still here, Johnny's just gone to the door, and he has... who's at the door, mate? ASOS have delivered... Parcel for Charlie. Thanks, Charlie.
Okay.
Appreciate that.
I'm back.
Right.
Sorry about that.
So it's okay. So, Caterham.
Where's the dog?
She's still wandering about.
Oh, there she is. She's out there.
Right, so I've got two that are grouped together now.
Yeah.
So I'll whiz through those real quick.
Okay.
This will be the Mercedes corner of the garage.
Okay, I know what's coming.
First one, I've gone for W211, so the sort of early 2000s E55 AMG.
Lovely.
Wagon.
Wagon, yeah.
So that's the wagon.
Yeah.
That is the fast wagon. I love that shape E-Class. I love that era of Mercedes. I love the engine, love the shape, really fast.
Yeah.
They're 470 odd horsepower standard.
Fuck me.
Stick a pulley and a remap on them, they're well over 500.
Supercharged?
Yeah, supercharged 5 point, I think it's actually a 5.4.
Ooh, Jesus.
And again, I wouldn't do anything to it. I might put some nice suspension on it, and again, maybe a pulley and a remap.
Yeah.
Update the infotainment a little bit.
Yeah.
And I'd probably use that quite a lot.
That would get it done.
That would get it done. It'd be a nice car. I'd put a detachable tow bar on it.
Oh, yeah.
And that would be my tow vehicle for the drift car and the Caterham or whatever, if I wanted to do that.
Yes, indeed.
Really nice. Probably black.
Okay.
Again, I know I've said all through this that I don't like black cars, but that would be a nice looking car.
Yeah, they're nice.
I budgeted for 20 grand for that. We'll get you a really good one.
Will it?
One of the best, yeah.
I love that.
You can. They're still under 10 grand for a slightly ropey one. I saw one for 8 grand
That's a bargain.
for 500 horsepower.
That is nuts.
I know.
And all of that comfort.
Yeah.
Jesus.
No
brainer.
Next one is. The next one's a R129, so the SL.
Yeah.
The late 80s, early 90s SL. Ooh. Like Wolf of Wall Street spec.
Oh, yeah.
I've always loved that car. I think it's a great looking design.
The angular boy.
Yeah. The sort of square, sort of wedgy, boxy one.
Higher up at the back slightly. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I've budgeted 40 grand.
What?
For an SL 600, the V12.
Okay, cool. There was one of those over there.
Yeah, was it? Well, it wasn't a V12.
Well, it had a V12 badge on it.
Did it?
Yeah.
Oh, it would have been then.
Yeah.
Fucking hell.
40 grand.
Yeah, that's what I mean, again, that will get you a good one. That will get a good one. This one's got 37,000 miles on it.
They do look badass.
They look amazing. And again, I wanted a late 80s, early 90s era Mercedes as well.
Yeah.
And I figured that's going to be without going and looking at loads of old like SECs and all that kind of stuff, like that's just a nice go-to. I love the way they look. That V12 is legendary. It's really well balanced, really refined. Fast enough. It's not going to be a particularly fast car, but it
sound fucking awesome.
It would sound amazing. It would drive really well. Again, I'd just make sure that it was nice, tight. Bushes were in good condition, suspension was in good condition.
Yeah,
everything was in good condition.
Yeah,
and there are a couple of Mercedes that I had on the list that I had to get rid of because of the budget. But this one, I just figure it's the right era.
Yeah,
it looks good.
Yeah,
and it ticks the convertible box.
Oh yeah, of course.
And B, it ticks the interesting engine box because it's a V12.
V12.
So that's the two Mercedes.
Love it. Okay, sling it back.
Slang it back.
Sling it back. Okay, next on my list is a car that I've loved forever.
Yeah. So, Volvo XC70.
How did you know? It's not the most exciting of cars. It's not a particularly good car to drive in the sense of...
Volvo XC70?
In the sense of, like, unless you did a bit of suspension work and a bit of this and that, it wouldn't be the most, like, thrilling car to drive.
Mm-hmm.
But I've loved this shape car forever. And...
I don't know where I'm going with it. Where are you going with this? Oh, wait, I think I know where you're going with this.
It's a Mark IV Golf R32.
R32, okay,
obviously. Yeah. Just simply because I love them. I think they're gorgeous cars to look at because I'm a Mark IV fanboy.
Mate, I spunked 25 grand of my budget on a bunch of shitty old MGs.
Yeah.
You don't need to justify it to me.
And I just think that engine was a thing of beauty in that car.
Mm-hmm.
You couple a little a little hatchback with a 3.2 litre V6,
mm-hmm.
and you've got a recipe for brilliance.
If that's the case, you could take your R32 to a track day. I'll take my ZS 180 to a track day together, and we can do a slow V6 track day.
Yeah, that'd be awesome, wouldn't it? We would sound great.
Yeah,
and I think I just love the Mark IV Golfs.
Yeah, again, you know me. I'm not a VW person. I'm not a Golf person. But again, the Mark IV R32
is a nice looking car, and it's a good car.
I'll give you that. Yeah.
I don't really rate the Mark IV Golf as a platform because they're not particularly good. The GTIs were a little bit underrated.
Why the fuck have you owned about 20 of them yet?
Because I just love the look of them.
Yeah.
And when you're 18 and you're into cars, you want to try and get a car with a turbo.
Mm-hmm.
You want to try and get a car that's relatively fast and tunable.
Yeah.
And you want to get a car that has a GTI badge or equivalent of.
Yeah, that's fair.
And the Mark IV Golf ticked those boxes.
However, to be fair, a couple of your Mark IVs were pretty quick.
They were pretty quick. But again, they weren't particularly great to drive. They were good in a straight line. Mm-hmm. Get to a corner, they're a bit shit. Unless you put some coilovers and things on, but I can't be fucking arsed for that these days. However, the R32s were obviously the pinnacle of the Mark IV. So they were spec'd to a much better level than the GTIs.
I seem to remember the seats were quite nice.
They were gorgeous. Yeah. The wingback seats.
Quite nice quality
heated leather. Yeah. And the one I would get would be a pearl blue 3-door with standard multi-spoke silver wheels. I would lower it because I think they are a bit higher standard.
Yeah, they've got a bit of a roller skate vibe going on as standard.
They do. They need to be lowered, not drastically, but I need a little arch gap, about an inch, maybe 2 inches. Nothing crazy.
A uniform arch gap around the wheel.
Yeah, that's what you want. And I just put a nice exhaust on it to make that V6 sing, man. And then I'll just burble on down the B roads.
How much have you budgeted for that?
18,000. I found a really nice one.
Will that get you a nice one?
Oh, that'll get you a nice one.
Okay, cool.
There's some supercharged ones out there and some turbocharged ones out there that are like 25 grand. But this one's just...
I don't think a turbo one would suit that car very well.
Nah.
Supercharged,
yeah, it'd be
definitely.
Awesome.
But yeah, no. Do you know what? Interestingly, again, I can see the appeal of an R32. I think they look best in silver.
Reflex silver is a pearlescent silver.
Yeah, it's a good look. It shows off the curves well because the R32's got quite a curvy body kit.
And on the arches where you see the pearlescent shine, it looks good. I had a GTI in reflex silver.
Yes, I remember. Yeah,
that was a nice looking car. But pearl blue, in my opinion, they only did pearl blue in the R32s, so you could only get that colour in that platform. So I just love it. So that's that.
That's nice. Again, a nice, easy. Not too. You're not gonna. You don't need to think too much about driving it. It's just oh okay. Well, I'm gonna take the R32 to work today.
Exactly, and it's comfortable. You can cruise in it. Yes, it probably rinses through fuel, and it's not very fast. It's 240 horsepower.
You've got a supercharged Viper on your list, mate. I don't think fuel's a concern.
You're so right. But yeah, I it's on the list because I couldn't leave it off.
Yeah, no, that's
one of those cars.
Again, exactly the same with the MGs for me.
Yeah, it's emotional attachment. Next on the list. Now, I haven't got a proper classic on my list yet.
To be fair, I don't think I've got.
Have you got the Red Baron and the 240?
I suppose, and I guess you've got Vitesse sort of fits that moniker.
So, I've gone for what I personally think within budget. There's some classics out there I would fucking love.
Yeah,
like an E-Type, or old Aston Martin.
Yeah.
Fuck me, they're gorgeous, but they are ridiculous.
Yeah, it's going to eat up your whole budget.
Yeah, so
can I take a guess?
Yeah, of course.
What it is? So it's a classic.
It's a classic.
Let's play a bit of 20 questions.
Okay, cool.
Is it convertible?
No.
Okay, that's kind of thrown a spanner in the works. Is it British?
Yes.
Is it a Triumph?
It is.
Is it a GT6?
It is. I think you 4 questions. Yeah. So a GT6 is, in my book, the closest you can get to an E-Type in terms of visibly.
And to be fair, in terms of character, because E-Type 6 cylinders or 12 cylinders.
Yeah.
GT6 is 6 cylinders, obviously.
The E-Type's obviously bigger, but the GT6 has a similar profile, side profile specifically.
Yeah. No, you're 100% right. It is a poor man's E-Type.
Yeah, exactly. But they're also have a place in my heart. My dad loves Triumphs, and I've grown up around Spitfires.
Yeah.
Because my dad's owned countless Spitfires.
Has your dad ever had a Stag?
Yeah,
Stag.
Yeah. So I really liked Triumphs as a kid, and still love them now. But the Spitfires are cool, but they're not particularly exciting cars. They're more of
it's a classic MX-5.
Yeah, I was going to say a hairdresser's car, but I hate that term. So it's not a hairdresser's car. They're badass. They're cool. But the GT6 6-cylinder
sound great.
Sound awesome.
They do look cool as well.
They look cool. It's basically a Spitfire with a hardtop, with a 6-cylinder, with a bonnet bulge.
Yeah.
Bit more power. Sounds awesome.
How much have you budgeted for that?
32,000. That's because I found one.
Okay.
Like.
Is that just a basically? It's not had an engine swap or anything.
No, it's fully standard. I think it's been tuned a bit. It's got some nice wheels. It's red again, and it looks great. And the advert looked. I mean, I could not buy it. I couldn't not buy it if I had the money. It's just the perfect GT6. Super lovely, super sick, super fucking shiny.
Again, awesome car for the summer.
Yeah. Classic.
That's nice. Oh, I'm a bit gutted.
Cruise around with the windows down, just barbling through housing estates. Not because I'm a Asbo chav, just because I love hearing that sound with the 6-cylinder. You know what I mean? And that's an old school 6-cylinder sound as well. It's raw.
Are they a straight 6? They must be, sure.
Yeah, they are.
That's the kind of car as well that you could drive like an absolute twat, and I don't think anyone really have an issue with it.
No, and also you could drive like an absolute twat and you wouldn't be like going that fast.
Yeah. How much power do they make?
I don't know. Maybe 130,
140,
40 horsepower, something like that. I'm not sure.
They probably only weigh about a ton. So
yeah. I mean, it'd be a good fun car to drive, and rear-wheel drive. You can chuck it around.
That would be eligible for like classics only track days as well.
Yeah.
So again, you could go to classic track days and have a nice time in that. That'd probably be quite good fun.
You could take it to Triumph meets, and I've noticed from the Triumph community, they're all really fucking cool.
Really?
Like everybody that owns a Triumph will come and talk to, especially when I've been out with Dad.
Yeah.
And they're really nice people. There's really like genuinely nice people because they're not trying too hard.
They're not triumphing too hard.
They're not trying too hard to be a fucking E-Type or something.
Yeah.
They're just like, I can't afford a really nice classic, so I've got Triumph. And I'm cool with that.
Yeah.
And I appreciate that you're cool with that too.
I would imagine they're like classic MG owners, just not quite as how do I say this diplomatic? they're like the slightly cooler version of classic MG owners.
Yeah, I reckon that's true. Like, I think that's true because classic MGs aren't as cool as classic Triumphs. Well, Triumphs in general. In my book, we had a GTB, me and Dad, that we went arms on, that we bought to restore, and it was a GTB, which is the coupe, and it was in a similar bracket as the Spitfire.
Yeah,
4-cylinder, similar sort of power,
Yeah.
similar experience to drive. We never drove it, actually, because we never restored it. We fucking sold it on.
Yeah.
Piece of shit. But it just didn't look as cool.
Yeah,
and I'm
yeah.
very visual. When it comes to these sorts of things, I'm very visually minded. So if I like the look of a car, regardless of how it fucking drives, I will like to buy it.
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean.
You know what I mean?
And also, again, if we both end up with our £1 million dream garages, I could take the Vitesse. We go to some nice classic meets in the Vitesse and the GT6.
Yeah.
Both interesting cars.
Indeed. Right, I'll hand back over to you because I've only got one left on my list.
Okay, I've still got quite a... no, I've not got that many, actually, to be fair. Right. Ford corner of the garage.
Knew this was coming.
This Ford corner took the biggest hit when I was trying to meet my budget.
I imagine so.
I had to get rid of about 10 other Fords.
If it's got a Cosworth badge on it, then you're looking at a lot of money.
Yeah, so what I've tried to do is I wanted some Ford representation in there.
Yeah.
Oh man, I'm just looking at the list of vehicles that I had to take off the list, and I'm gutted.
I'm gonna have to let the dog in.
That's fine. So I've got 3 Fords on my list. That's all.
Okay. Hold that thought.
Yeah. I've got a lot of vehicles on this list that I've had to get rid of, and I'm just flicking through the ones that that didn't quite make the cut, and it's making me very sad. There's a lot of really cool stuff on there.
We're gonna have to pause for a sec, right? I've got to clean our fucking paws.
Okay, so Johnny's cleaning Mabel's paws. So whilst we're doing that, I'll whiz through a couple of ones that I have kind of already discussed that I didn't quite make the cut. One was a W215 Mercedes CL. I really like that shaped car. I think it's a gorgeous car. Really, really nice shape. Again, similar to the Rover 75. I just like that. I like the proportions. I like the curvy nature of it. And they did some wicked versions of that car. 65 AMG is top of the list. It's ridiculous. I was looking at 600 bi-turbos. Great car. But again, I had the V12 Mercedes done already, and I had that era Mercedes done already with the E55, so I kind of figured there's not much point doing that. What else we got? Yeah, I had to take one of the... I wanted to buy 2 classic minis, so I would have had 3 in total. So I got mine already. I'd engine swap and cafe racer it up and make it really nice. The late Cooper Sport, the late model Cooper Sport with the sportsback arches, that stayed, but I did really want a sort of an early, not necessarily a genuine early Mini, but like I wanted to build or buy a sort of a replica of an early Cooper S with like a really nicely spec'd A series, like a Swift Tune or something like that, 100 horsepower, 110 horsepower, something like that I could, 10-inch wheels, proper old school. That was going to be my sort of, I figured I'd have the new one, which is the nice sort of refined, fuel injected, comfy one. I'd have the old one, which is the kind of real raw sort of track day car, and then my one would be sort of sit nicely in the middle. So yeah, I lost that one as well. I just couldn't quite justify it. Right, you back?
I'm back.
I've been absolutely rambling for the last 5 minutes.
I have heard it, so it's okay.
Right, Mabel, you need to just calm yourself down.
Sorry about that. The dog had really muddy paws. I had to put her in the sink.
Right. Okay, so Ford corner.
Yeah.
I had to get rid of a lot of Fords that didn't make the list.
Okay.
But it did make the list that I had to cut back, which I'm very sad about.
Yeah, fair enough.
The 3 that remain.
Yeah.
3 Fords.
Okay.
First one, Series 1 Escort RS Turbo.
Of course.
That was, with the 355,
Yep.
that was the other car that had to be on this list.
Yeah, fair
almost enough. Regardless of cost. If they were 3 times the cost, they'd be really expensive. But, so Series 1 Escort RS Turbo, I've budgeted 40 grand.
Love that.
That will get a very nice one. Again, not necessarily the best of the best, but it will get a very nice one. I wouldn't keep it bone stock. It would have some nice wheels on there.
Yeah.
maybe Escort Cosworth, maybe some Ford wheels, but just
Yeah.
not the standard wheels. Are a bit too small, not
Yeah, I
quite
know
nice
what you mean.
offset.
Yeah, needs some
decent
nice
suspension, decent brakes.
What colour?
White. They only came in white.
Yeah.
And
Did they?
You keep it white. Yeah.
Yeah. I knew someone that had one and he sold it.
Piss off. When?
Probably about 5 years ago now. He had one, had it resprayed, and then flogged it. He should have kept it. And then he bought an E46 M3.
I mean, the guy's clearly got taste.
Yeah. He's a good dude.
Yeah. So yeah, I'd have that. Again, bit more power. They're 132 horsepower standard, I think.
Yeah.
133 maybe. I'd probably, to be honest, again, I'm not precious about this stuff. I'd probably engine swap it.
Really?
I'd put a Z-Tech turbo in it.
Yeah, fair enough.
Or something like that. Doesn't need to be big power, 200 horsepower, 250 horsepower. Maybe they don't weigh much.
That'd be rad.
Decent suspension. I believe they've got a limited slip diff as standard, actually, so I wouldn't have to do anything with that. But yeah, just a nice, tidy, fast Series 1 RS Turbo.
That's cool.
Okay.
What's left in Ford corner?
Mark II Focus RS.
Okay. Love that.
5-cylinder. And I'd probably get it in white to match the Escort.
Okay.
So my original plan was to get Series 1 Escort RS Turbo. Series 2 RS Turbo can fuck off. It's a shit car. Series 1 Escort RS Turbo, Escort RS Cosworth, Mark 1 Focus RS, Mark 2 Focus RS, Mark 3 Focus RS. That was the kind of dream.
Okay. Pricey dream.
Escort Cosworth was the first one to get fucked off out of that
That's
list.
like £100 car.
Because they're really expensive. And actually, from what I understand, they're kind of in the don't meet your heroes category for me. Because I feel like a lot of people who have driven them say they're a little bit disappointing.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't want that to be the case.
Yeah.
And it's like, I've got the Scooby, which is probably a much better car.
Yeah.
So the Escort Cosworth fucked off.
That's a shame. It's a beautiful car, but I do get what you're doing.
Yeah. Then the Mark 1... I really wanted a Mark 1 Focus.
Yeah, I was going to say, why not a Mark 1?
So Mark 1 Focus RS was on the list.
Yeah, beautiful looking things.
They're great looking cars. But again, they're big money now.
They are.
Big money. And again, I did kind of want to keep the white RS theme going.
Yeah, fair enough.
So I was like, I'll either have to buy one and then wrap it or whatever else. So I didn't really want to do that. So the Mark 1 Focus RS fucked off. And then at that point, I was just like, well, I'm not just going to have a Series 1, a Mark 2 RS, and a Mark 3 RS, because the Mark 3 RSs are like 30 grand still. 30, probably a bit more, actually.
Yeah.
So I ended up with just the Series 1 and the Mark 2 Focus. 5-cylinder, again, I'd do a few nice bits to that.
Yeah.
You know, chip it and all that kind of stuff. They're obviously really tunable.
Uh-huh.
That would be Ford corner. There's a list of about 10 Fords that I really wanted to get that didn't quite make the cut, that had to get culled.
I mean, I'm surprised that you've limited your Ford corner that much, because you are Ford man through and through.
Again, there's
even works for Ford.
There's, like I say, there is a lot of stuff on this list that didn't make it, that had to get pulled back. And then last thing in Ford corner, I'd get a Mark 7 Transit Sport.
I'm not surprised by that.
I think they're a great looking van. They drive great. I'd have a kind of... It'd be a bit of a
Mark 7.
Mark
now
7.
Remind me what that is.
That's the last shape before it became the custom. Right. So 2007 to 2012. 2007 to 2012. Or 2006 to 2012, I think.
Yeah, okay, fair enough. I think I know the ones you mean. With the
square
exhaust bit, is that a Mark 5?
Yeah. So the Sport had it's the only Transit Sport that's not a custom, not a newer one.
Yeah, I know what you mean then. And they came in the same, like a Cadbury blue sort of thing.
Yeah. I think back then it was called Performance Blue. It then turned into Deep Impact Blue.
Deep Impact, right, cool. Cool.
Not
cool.
Deep Impact Blue. It's an option along with Armageddon White.
Again, not cool.
Right, so that I've budgeted 20 grand for one of those, okay. Which you can get them. They're about 10 for a sort of half decent one. The genuine sports do tend to hold their value quite well, but I'd want to personalise it a little bit. Probably put some different wheels on, bit of suspension work. I'd want it to be pretty much mint on the outside, and none of them really are. So a bit of body work, and then the back I would make into a bit of a day van-y type
cool.
vibe.
Stick a little bed in there or something.
Yeah, like a little rock and roll, but nothing too crazy. Not a full camper, but
Yeah. Somewhere you can chill out.
And I'd have a detachable tow bar because that would be my other towing vehicle.
Nice.
So if I wanted to go on a track day or whatever else, and if I was doing a drift day and I wanted to put a load of tyres
in the back,
we'd do that, and we'd stick the drift car on the back of the Transit. Makes
sense, man.
So that's forward corner. I've got 1, 2, 3 ish left.
Okay, so I'll do mine.
Yeah,
and then you can fire wherever your last 3.
Yeah.
Okay, so last on the list. Is something, again, like all the rest of them, is something I just think looks visibly awesome.
Yeah.
Haven't got a Japanese car on my list yet, I think. No, I don't think I have. Oh, no, I haven't.
No, we haven't seen Japanese stuff.
Now, I was looking at going for like an R32.
Respect.
Because I love an R32. And then I thought, I can't really afford it. My budget was dwindling at this point. And as much as I would love an R32, I'd also... I don't know. There are other things that I would also love that are up there in an equal quantity as the R32 in my book of loves. Fucking, that's a weird thing to say. My book of loves. So, an S15. I just think they're visually gorgeous.
Yeah, a great looking car.
And in some respects, I think they're better looking than an R32. The R32,
I'm not sure
it's a
about
statement, I know.
I'm not sure about that.
But they've got such like a modern styling to such like a not modern car. If that makes sense. The front end of those headlights that just come round looks super modern, nice. And you put a nice little subtle body kit on it.
Subtle kit on there, yeah. Nice wheels.
Quite a nice medium-sized wing on the back.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't like them de-winged. I don't think they
No,
look...
I don't either. No, the with the smooth back, they don't work. Same as an R32, actually.
Yeah. It needs to have a wang on there just to kind of bring that profile into proportion. And I just think they look badass. The way they slope from back to front.
It is a textbook coupe.
Oh, it's a textbook sports car.
Yeah. I remember when I was a kid, I had a book, and I can't remember if the whole book was about drawing cars or if there was just a portion of this book which was about drawing cars. But it basically told you how to draw proportions of different vehicles. So like a tractor, you'd draw like a big box, then a small box, then a big
wheels.
circle, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And then all the different types of cars. And so you'd have the 3-box saloon, so you'd start with 3 boxes and then you'd round them out. And I remember the coupe was basically you'd get a rectangle, then quite a shallow right-angle triangle on top of it, and then a bit of a box on top. And it's basically an S15. I mean, this book was written obviously before an S15, but it was just a generic coupe shape. Is an S15. I mean that as a compliment.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
It's a great looking car.
I just think the proportions of it are lovely. The styling of it is gorgeous. They're nice. You've got good variety of engines. I'd probably do something crazy with it and make it like a...
Would you? Yeah, I was going to say, would you leave the SR20 in there, or would you go like an RB or a 2J?
Probably
or
an RB or something.
How much have you budgeted for this?
Wow, not a lot actually. 26,000.
Oh yeah, no, you're not doing an engine stuff for that.
But I have got 12 grand left over.
Oh, from your £1 million budget?
Yes.
Oh, okay, that's interesting.
So I have thought about this, that I would buy an S15 that I really liked the look of, then I could fuck around with it. That would be my fuck around car.
Yeah.
Like my tune-up car.
Yeah.
Japanese, fucking tune the fuck out of it.
Yeah, maybe. Don't make it an all-out drift car. Maybe make it something that you could drift.
Yeah, I'd have to learn how to drift.
Well, there you go. It's fine.
It could be my learn how to drift car.
Yeah.
I hadn't thought about that, but it could be. But I thought I want something Japanese within budget. I've only got 40 grand there with the 12 grand left over.
Yeah.
I wanted an R32, but I wanted a fucking sick one.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I didn't want to buy one that wasn't sick and have no money to make it sick. So the S15, I thought if I buy that, I can make it fucking to as nice as I want it. I could spend 12 grand on that, get a nice engine in there, get it tuned, job done.
Yeah, that's nice.
And I just think they look badass.
Yeah, what colour?
I like
white.
I found one that's white.
Okay.
And that's the one I've based it on, 26 grand.
Okay.
But it hasn't got a wang on the back.
Okay.
And it's got some horrible smoke rear lights. So all of that would go.
Yeah.
I'll put a wang on it, put the OEM
Would you
lights back
keep it?
in.
Sorry, would you keep it white?
Oh, I fucking love them in white.
Yeah, that's a great.
Oh, they look so good in white. And I've
Yeah.
put some black wheels on it. Or I've put some like silver wheels, not chrome. I don't like chrome. Unless it's like a fucking Cadillac or something.
Yeah.
And then I just fucking drive that around.
Yeah.
And it'd be awesome.
Yeah. Again, that's a nice, not too showy, not too intense, sort of if you know type car.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And the difference between the S40 and the S15 in my book is like massive.
Night and day, yeah.
Night and day. The S15 is the only nice
An
Silvia.
S14A, like the facelift with a slightly more aggressive front, I think is a good looking car.
Yeah.
But yeah, then the S15 is whole different gravy. It's great looking
it's
car.
a gorgeous thing. It's a thing of beauty. And then that's it. So that's my whole list.
Okay.
So you do yours, then we'll do a recap.
Yeah, we'll just do a list
A quick
of all of them.
rundown.
Okay, so how many have I got left? 3-ish left. The catering, but I've already mentioned that because you said yours. Which again, amazing that it's the same model, same options, same price.
Yeah.
So of the 3 cars left, Volvo 850R.
Oh, yeah.
That's again.
Yeah,
I budgeted 10 grand for one of those.
Yeah, I love that.
Again, it doesn't need to be mint. I'd probably, they're all high mileage. I don't care about that. It's a great looking car. It's a great sounding car.
Yeah.
Like I wanted another Volvo. I wanted a few other Volvos, but
Still
again,
250 horsepower or something.
I think they were 240 standard.
240. Yeah, that's cool.
But again, you can make big power out of those. But yeah, I wouldn't go crazy with it. Maybe again a chip, maybe a turbo, some injectors, 300 horsepower, something like that.
Nice.
Nice exhaust on there for that 5 cylinders of Fury.
Indeed. Yeah, love it.
I prefer the saloon compared to the wagon, but I haven't got many other wagons on the list. I think the E55 is the only other estate I've got.
I'd get a wagon 100%.
So
I'm a sucker for a wagon.
And I've already got my 240, which is a saloon.
Yeah,
so I
yeah.
figured 850 wagon, 850R, a few nice bits and bobs. I budgeted 10 grand for that.
Nice.
205 1.9 GTI.
Yeah, that was on my list, but
I haven't got many hot hatch. I think that is the only hot hatch on my list.
really?
Well, I mean, you got the MGs, but I don't really count those.
They're not
'cause-
hot.
I suppose Focus RS is on there.
Oh, that's
Actually,
hot.
yeah, Escort RS Turbo.
That's hot.
There's a few on there.
Yeah.
But I love the 205. I'm so pissed off I didn't buy one when we were 18. When they were
they're
fucking 1,500
dirt cheap,
quid.
weren't they?
They were. You could get a decent one for 1,500 quid all day long, and a really nice one for like 2 grand.
Yeah, you can't get anywhere near that now.
I budgeted 15 grand for one, which
That's a good price.
yeah, it'll get you. It will get
I'll
you.
get you a really nice
It'll
one.
get you a nice one. Again, not the best, but it'll get you a nice, good
it's up
condition, tight, usable one.
Yeah, definitely. Great car.
The last car on the list.
Last car.
The last thing on the list really is a Jaguar XJR.
Nice.
X308, so the 90s shape.
Yeah.
Again, I'd get a late one. I just think similar to the Rover 75. I've got a bit of a thing. I don't know if this is sort of happened in the last couple of years. I've got a real thing for just classic 3-box saloon cars.
Yeah, I mean, you can't really go wrong with it.
I love the way my Volvo looks. Again, I said earlier, the Rover 75 MG ZT, I genuinely think not joking, I genuinely think is a really good looking car. E39 M5, I love. So yeah, the Jaguar XJR I just think is the pinnacle of old school 3-box design.
Yeah.
It's British, it's fast, it's a bit kind of like
a bit gangster as well.
Yeah, and they sound great. They're fast as well.
Yeah.
So I budgeted. How much did I budget for that? 20 grand, which will get you a very good one.
Will it?
A very good one, yeah. Again, not the best of the best, like delivered like concourse, but it will get you a really good one.
Yeah, fair enough. I like that a lot.
So yeah, that's mine. I mean, a couple of honourable mentions.
Yeah.
Giulia Quadrifoglio
Yeah.
was on the list.
damn it.
That was going to be my modern daily.
Yeah, that's a bloody good car.
I was gutted that went off the list. That I just couldn't justify it.
Yeah.
Couple of other Porsches that I couldn't quite justify. CLK 63 AMG that again kind of was already being used by the needs were fulfilled by other cars on the list.
Yeah.
Loads of Fords, Fiesta ST, like the latest Fiesta ST, Racing Puma, Mark 1 Focus, Mondeo ST220, Capri, Granada, loads of Fords on there that unfortunately had to come under the cosh. Rover Coupe Turbo.
Oh, yeah.
But again, I was like, am I actually going to drive it if I've got a Scooby and I've got all this kind of other stuff?
Yeah, needs are met in better cars.
Yeah. Range Rover Classic. Again, that fell victim to the guillotine because of the SD1.
Yeah, I didn't get anything like that on my list.
I've got no 4x4s on my list. No SUVs.
Well, I've got 4x4s, but no SUVs.
Yeah, no SUVs. And yeah, that was going to be my sort of winter nice.
Yeah.
And again, I wanted a nice one with a decent spec engine. So
I'll go for a Land Cruiser. Now we're talking about
good shout, actually. And the thing that really pained me to do is I've got most types of engine.
Yeah.
I really wanted a V10. I really wanted a V10 on the list. And
well, you could have done that quite easily with an E60.
This is the point. So originally I put a V10 manual R8 on the list.
Ooh.
Because they're not that expensive. 60 grand will get you a good one. Had to be a manual. I didn't want the
paddle shifty shit,
tronic-y, whatever it's called.
Yeah.
And again, I'm not an Audi man, but I admire the R8.
Yeah,
but I'd be buying it for the engine and the gearbox, not for the rest of the car.
Yeah, fair enough.
That went.
Yeah.
Then I was like, okay, well, E60 M5, they're pretty cheap for what they are. And again, great engine. It'll tick the V10 box. But then I was like, do I really want an E39 and an E60?
Yeah, I know what you mean.
So that went as well. So I'm genuinely a bit sad that I don't have a V10. Again, BMW 635 CSI. I really wanted one of those. Porsche 993 Porsche. Really wanted one of those. And there's just countless others.
Yeah, I mean, I had loads that I wanted, I just couldn't afford.
Yeah.
But I wanted a 720S McLaren.
Yeah.
But that was a big chunk of the budget, like talking 350 grand.
Yeah.
And I was like, I can't justify spending a third of my budget on one car.
100%.
When there's loads of other things I want. I was looking at planes because it's a garage. Doesn't say it has to have wheels.
Oh yeah, sorry. So the last thing on my list is I've budgeted 5 grand for a half decent trailer.
Yeah, I didn't even think about that, but yeah. That's a great shout.
That makes it up to £1 million exactly.
Yeah, I looked at boats.
Oh yeah, that would have been.
I looked at power boats, but they're a lot of money,
a lot of money for a decent one.
Like a decent boat is not cheap. Even like a half decent boat is still not cheap. And I looked at, like I've always said, looked at like little planes, and they are astronomical. If you want buy like a
Cessna or something.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm talking the right lingo here because I didn't necessarily see a Cessna.
Foxtrot Charlie Oscar 1 2 3
1 2 3 trying to land on your landing strip. But the price ranged from like £500,000 to like 80 grand, and they looked the same.
Oh, so yeah. You can.
I didn't know what the fuck I was looking at.
You could get You could get a decent plane that you could learn to fly and have fun flying for probably 50 grand. Already.
Yeah, but the fact of the matter is, the two planes looked the same, and one was £500,000 and one was like 80,000. So I thought, I can't be bothered to research planes. I'm going back to cars.
That's probably like people who don't know about cars would see, a 355 and a Mark 1 MR2 and be like,
they're the same car.
Why is one 1,500 quid and one is 100 grand? Yeah. They're the same.
Yeah, literally. They're both red.
They're both wedgy.
Yeah, and they basically look the same. So
right, let me run through my list real quick.
Okay, we need to wrap this up.
Yeah, we definitely need to wrap this up. We did not expect this to go on this long.
Battery's running out, so let's go.
Okay, so restore the Mini, restore the Volvo.
Yeah.
Ferrari 355, Ferrari 550, Ferrari 458, Porsche 997 GT3, Porsche Boxster S 987, E39 M5, E46 M3, Mini Cooper S R53, John Cooper Works, Classic Mini Late Model Sports Pack, MG ZR160 facelift, MG ZS180 facelift, MG ZT260 facelift, Rover SD1 Vitesse, Supra Mark IV, twin turbo manual, Skyline R32 GTR, classic, late model classic Impreza STI, some form of drift car for about 20 grand, an R129 Mercedes SL 600, the V12, E55 AMG, W211 Wagon, the supercharged V8, Series 1 Escort RS Turbo, Mark II Focus RS in white to match the Escort, Mark 7 Transit Sport, Volvo 850R Wagon, Jaguar XJR X308, a 205 1.9 GTI, a Caterham 420R with the SV chassis, and some sort of trailer to take it all around.
Lovely. Give me that and I'll run through mine really quickly. Okay, I'll keep this short and sweet. So, Lancia Delta, Integrale, a Ferrari 355 Challenge, Aston Martin DBS V12 Superleggera, BMW M3 Competition, brand spanking new, Dodge Viper Supercharged GTS, crazy thing, 911, 997 GT3, Volkswagen Golf GTI Mark 1, dual 450 motorhome, Jensen Button's old motorhome, Noble M400, Caterham 420R, Mark 4 R32, Triumph GT6, S15, and then some money left over. Few grand left over to tune the S15. So there you have it.
There you have it. So if you wanted to know how to spend £1 million on a bunch of fucking weird shit boxes,
you now know.
You now know. Right, if you've got this far, thank you very much. It is much appreciated. Like I say, we're trying to keep these weekly. The next one will be a bit shorter. This one's gone on far too long. So the next one will be a bit shorter and will be a bit more of a general sort of chit-chat. Stories and stuff.
I think we're going to talk about when we crashed a car we were reviewing on the next one.
That's going to be the next one.
It's pretty traumatic. So.
Yeah.
Oh!
I've still got these two going.
Yeah.
So the audio probably would have changed now, but yeah, thank you everybody for watching and listening.
We'll catch you.
See you next week. Check it out on YouTube, check it out on Spotify, Apple, blah, 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 all that kind of stuff, Facebook, Instagram, all the usuals.
Yeah. Love it.
Let's do it.
Thanks, guys. Cheers.
How fucking long have we been doing this?
That was an hour and something.
What?